I don't want to hear a bottom line. I want to hear somebody telling me with a certain amount of consistency what they filed as a complaint.
Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the lawsuits that this famously no-nonsense TV judge couldn't get rid of fast enough.
You want to see it again?
Fine.
Let's take a look at it again. I need to see it again.
Number 30, not my favorite case. Judge Scheindlin doesn't mince words. From the top of this case about a cracked iPhone screen, she's so bored she can't even contain herself.
Go into a long story with me. It's not my favorite case. In case you couldn't tell from the look on my face, this is not a happy face.
Plaintiff Michael Arter alleges that defendant Speen Khan broke his phone while roughhousing. But between the fact that the plaintiff was intoxicated at the time and that the crack in the screen is too minuscule to warrant a lawsuit, she's less than interested.
The damage is in the top left corner.
We're done here, Mr. Arter.
Arter tries to argue that this has affected the way the phone works. Unfortunately for him, the judge is beyond done with this case. Number 29. I just changed my mind. It's rare that Judge Judy completely changes her verdict at the last minute, but it's usually when a litigant says something really, really stupid.
Yes.
Big mistake.
Very big mistake.
Plaintiff Mary Phillips took an offer for a vacuum demonstration. The result is a burn hole in the floor from a heat lamp the defendants used in her home. They insist that their heat lamp was not responsible for the damage. At first, Judge Judy is only going to award Phillips a fraction of what she's suing for.
Oh, no, they're not doing that. I mean, it's terrible, but they're not doing the whole living room and foyer.
That is, until defendant David Byram accidentally contradicts his wife's testimony, admitting the heat lamp did touch the floor for a few seconds. They pay dearly for their dishonesty.
What was wrong with the heat lamp?
There was nothing wrong with the heat lamp, and I hold that lamp the entire time. It touches the floor for maybe 2 seconds.
Just changed my mind. Did you have the floor fixed?
I have not had it fixed yet, Your Honor.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. We're finished. Thank you.
Number 28. A phone call. You know things are going to get interesting when the judge makes a phone call.
You have made my day so much easier, Miss Denham, and I thank you very much for being so articulate and clear. Thank you.
These litigants can't agree on the circumstances of this car accident. The defendant is already in hot water over driving without insurance, but it's Judge Judy's call to the witness that puts the final nail in his coffin. Once she has all the facts, she hands the defendant his own head on a platter and has a great time doing it.
You got impatient and went around her and cut her off to make the left turn. That's why she stopped, and that's why she gave the police her name, because you went around her car, cut her off, she was making a left turn, and there was no green arrow.
She doesn't even listen to the amount the plaintiff is asking for. She just awards her the $5,000 maximum. Number 27. Careless carding. Lots of bad decisions had to be made to make this case possible.
There are several ways for him to get back to where he was supposed to be, but you decided that the best way to coax him to do that was to allow him to drive your golf cart.
An 8-year-old really shouldn't be driving anything besides a bike. Someone should tell that to these defendants. Chris Beiser allowed a friend's child to drive her golf cart, and he ran right into a neighbor's shed, destroying it. Beiser, who owns the cart and was in it with the child at the time, does not think she's responsible. That's not how Judge Judy sees it.
You hit the shed. As a matter of fact, even in the story that you're telling me, you hit the shed because you took the wheel and said you were turning it. You hit the shed.
There's really no way the defendants can get out of this one. They are going to pay to have the shed rebuilt. It's just a question of how much.
The estimate for that shed is the removal, the rebuild, and the...
I said I find $4,500 unreasonable.
Sure.
Good. Much better. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Number 26. Breaking the law. Plaintiff Phyllis Charday doesn't start things off on the right foot.
I got pulled over without insurance.
That's not the reason. That's not the reason.
Okay.
That's baloney.
She's come to the court because her friend sold a car she paid for without her permission. The only trouble is that Charday had to put the car in the defendant's name.
I'm telling you, not a smart thing to do. Because now you're liable for anything that happens with that car. You do understand that.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy susses out very quickly that there's a reason the plaintiff couldn't have the vehicle in her name. Charday is not legally allowed to own one. To award her any money would be to uphold her illegal activities. It may be a TV court show, but Judge Judy's not interested in helping scammers carry out their scams.
And what you're asking a court to do is to say, well, despite the fact that you were breaking the law, I'm going to help you. Courts don't do that. Not this court.
Number 25. Don't try to outthink me, sir. The plaintiff in this case is suing her ex-fiancé for unpaid loans and the cost of a wedding dress she's still making payments on. Here's the problem. The defendant is already married to someone else.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Mr. LaCourse?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Don't try to outthink me, sir. You're going to lose.
His excuses are all over the place. Judge Judy swiftly lets this guy know she doesn't buy any of his baloney about why the check he wrote bounced.
Look at the things that you've said to me so far. I gave it to her because she has 5 kids and I was helping her out, right? I gave it to her just to put in the bank and hold. I gave it to her because she was coming down to visit me so much and I never asked her to come. Look at all the 3 things you said to me in the course of less than 90 seconds, Mr. LaCourse.
Yes, ma'am?
As if Judge Judy hasn't already heard every excuse in the book. She dispenses some of her trademark wit and hard truths to both of them before ruling in the plaintiff's favor.
See, I got it. As far as the wedding dress is concerned, I would stop paying for it and consider myself lucky.
Number 24. The wrong side of the fence. Sometimes neighbors make the worst enemies. In this case, plaintiff Bob Ketcherside is angry over the defendant's choice of paint for their shared fence. Meanwhile, Ketcherside can't even see that side of the fence from his house or yard.
It's completely visible to the rest of the neighborhood, anybody on the street, anybody on the sidewalk.
Who cares? That has
care.
nothing to do with you.
Things got tense between them and they landed in court. This is clearly a case of a litigant having too much time on his hands.
So he painted the fence that only the side that faced his property, a fence that you put in the contract he was to pay for half of, a color that he wanted.
The defendant, by the way, doesn't even need to say a word the whole time. The plaintiff does a great job of looking foolish all on his own, though he does get a little help from the judge.
The only color fence you see from inside your house, from your backyard, that your children see, that your grandchildren see, that your wife sees, is this color fence. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Number 23. You hit his car. There are some people who can't even fess up to wrongdoing when the evidence is plain as day.
He hit there's a portable handicap sign. He smashed into that and smashed into my car.
And that the sign smashed into your car.
No, the car did too.
Okay, and that's what the video is going to show.
Oh, you bet.
Here, defendant Joffrey Koloski is willing to tell Judge Judy right to her face that he did not back into the plaintiff's car, even when presented with clear video of him doing just that.
You don't even go and see if there was any damage to your car.
I knew what I hit.
Well, clearly not, because you denied it.
He insists he just hit the reserved parking sign in front of it. Well, that's not untrue. But he also most definitely hit both the sign and the car. It seems he wants everyone to believe that dinky little signpost made the plaintiff's entire car move, but anyone who sees the footage is clear on what happened.
Thank you. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,038.38. Thank you very much. We're done here.
Number 22. Unruly witness.
I
Yes.
proceeded to pull
Oh,
out.
you can't pull
He
out.
struck my vehicle,
You can't pull out.
doing the high rate of speed that he's doing. I have a witness saying that he had pulled out earlier down the road, driving
Listen to me-
recklessly.
Listen to me very carefully. His name is Chris.
That's correct.
You have no insurance, and you had a stop sign.
The judge is already set to rule for the plaintiff. He's suing for damages from a car crash where the defendant struck him. The defendant was the one with the stop sign, so it's pretty cut and dry. When the plaintiff's witness begins speaking out of turn, however, that's when things really kick off.
You don't drive a car without insurance.
That's irrelevant.
Not to me, it isn't. Maybe to you.
Discussion about the actual accident is completely sidetracked as she spends most of this brief case lecturing the two unruly men on the law and the problems of driving without insurance. Sometimes you have to wonder if she's just toying with people for our amusement. It's so satisfying to watch her let these two have it.
He thinks that this is a cocktail hour.
See that door?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the one.
So you're saying the fact that
I'm saying judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $250. We're finished. Thank you.
Number 21. Calling it. Litigants in Judge Judy's courtroom often try to call BS on the other one, but they usually don't say the word outright. That's exactly what plaintiff Raven Miyamoto did in this case about a college roommate arrangement gone wrong.
We had been having issues beforehand, and there's already tension in the house due to Daisha's attitude towards me.
Or because you were jealous.
Whatever it was, you weren't getting along. And
The judge was already over these two young women from the moment they started talking about past traumas. But then they got into a verbal spat right in the courtroom. Miyamoto not only says the word, she repeats it for the judge without apology. Avoiding profanity in Judge Judy's courtroom is probably the bare minimum, and Miyamoto can't even clear it. She tosses them out like two spoiled children.
Your Honor, I have a countersuit.
you're done. You're done. If you don't know where you are, that's your problem. Goodbye.
Oh, there's
Your
no
Honor,
excuse. You need to step
countersuit.
out.
Goodbye.
Number 20. She can't stop interrupting. Kim Knoller is pretty upset that the defendant canceled the reservation he made with her motorcycle rental business. Luckily for her, she was able to keep the money he tried to have refunded. Now she basically wants more compensation for the inconvenience. Knoller has a no refunds policy. We know that because she keeps saying it over and over, even when the judge is talking.
I think that you're a very bad businesswoman.
Ma'am,
I think
he
that
called
you
3
are,
days later.
I think that
he
you
canceled 3
listen
days later.
to- no,
My policy is no
hey,
refunds.
Miss Knoller. Miss
It's in my policy.
I'm talking, you're not.
The first rule of Judge Judy is don't talk over Judge Judy, but she doesn't seem to care. The judge already has it in for her over her business practices, but it doesn't take long for Knoller's case to be dismissed due to her sheer inability to stay quiet.
And used my business before 3 times.
That
And
understood
they
the
call-
policy.
Hey, just
That understood the policy.
goodbye. Your case is dismissed.
That's
We're
great.
done.
Number 19. No zipline, no money. This defendant rented a cabin for several days and decided she didn't have to pay. Her reasoning is pretty solid. Not. The zipline she and her family wanted to use was not open for business. Somehow that's the cabin owner's fault? So she's decided she deserves a full refund because their ad mentioned there was ziplining nearby.
Well, the zip line was there when we rented it. If it closed its doors, so we rented it in June, or paid it in June, July 14th, which I have a picture, they closed their doors.
The judge, and anyone with half a brain, does not agree. Scheindlin courteously gives the defendant a chance to explain herself before poking holes in her entire argument. In fact, it might have been kinder for her to just rule against her case outright. Instead, Scheindlin makes sure to promptly make a fool out of her before issuing any ruling.
There was nothing that you could do with your family that you don't see regularly if there was no ziplining in what looks to me like a beautiful environment.
Well, we weren't enjoying the environment, and my children didn't want to stay.
Yeah, well, then you have spoiled children.
Number 18. A gift from Judge Judy. Judge Judy is known for many things. Being sweet is not necessarily one of them. In the earlier days of her show, she presides over this case between exes fighting about a dog. Knowing she can't come up with a solution that would make both of them happy, she comes up with a little prompt creative justice.
There really is no law in any jurisdiction that I know about that covers the joint custody or the visitation of a pet.
Well, don't look at Terry as a pet, another type of person.
At this point, the pup is living with the defendant. So as a compromise, she decides to give the plaintiff a brand new dog she found by scouring the paper. As soon as the man sees and subsequently holds the animal, you can clearly see his heart melt. It all unfolds relatively quickly, but is also a show of heartwarming generosity from TV's harshest arbitrator.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is my doggy. Ooh, precious doggy. I guess that's the best thing there. I need to get out of her life. But my dog.
Number 17. Big time doubts. Right at the top, the judge makes it known she's skeptical of whatever these two litigants have going on.
You're going to have to convince me, Mr. West.
Sure, I can do that.
I doubt it.
Okay.
Big time doubt. doubt it.
The case is ostensibly about money owed for an international trip. She chooses her words very carefully. Then the judge starts interrogating the defendant about what he had been up to since he got into town.
You're in a new place. You're in LA, right?
Yes. Had a good
Flew
time.
you here.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm asking you is, did you have a good time last night?
Yes, I had a good
Where
time.
did you have dinner?
At the hotel.
With whom?
It seems like she knows something about what the men had been doing the prior night and is trying to suss it out. Whether or not the case is real or fabricated for a free trip to Los Angeles, Scheindlin is clearly having a great time making the litigants squirm a bit before sending them on their way.
What do you think is going through my mind now when I said to you, I'm skeptical about your case, and you say to me, I have all the evidence here, so I want to show you that it's a real case, rather than just I have no case.
That was the adjective I used. I apologize.
Number 16. That sounds unreasonable. After her friend crashed her car, the plaintiff sues for her deductible, but what Judge Judy takes issue with is that she's suing for well over the deductible amount.
But you had a $500 deductible.
Yes, ma'am.
Which you want her to be responsible for because she had the accident.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that doesn't sound unreasonable to me. But you're suing her for $3,000.
Yes, ma'am.
That sounds unreasonable to me.
You see, the plaintiff wants her ex-friend to help pay for a brand new car, and even claims she has texts to prove they had an agreement to that effect. But of course, the texts end up saying nothing about this ridiculous-sounding deal.
I don't see where she agreed to pay you $2,500.
That's not in the text messages right there.
If you're going to bring evidence, make sure it proves what you say it proves. Otherwise, you're just going to irritate the judge and she'll quickly make her ruling. Number 15, couple tattoos. As soon as we hear it's going to be a case that involves matching couple tattoos, we know Judge Judy is going to be her understanding and compassionate self. Of course, the whole reason these two are in court is because the relationship didn't work out.
And what kind of furniture did she buy you?
It was a Serta mattress, king size, and the bed frame, and the TV.
And you have a new girlfriend?
Yes.
Do you watch the TV with your new girlfriend?
Yes.
And you sleep on the mattress and the frame?
Yes.
You think it's right that the plaintiff pay for that?
Already questioning their judgment, she goes about things pretty brutally and swiftly from then on, as she asks about owed furniture money. But between the defendant's new girlfriend speaking out of turn and his less than becoming language over text message, Judge Judy figures out which side she was on pretty quick.
I don't believe.
You don't believe what?
Where did I say that I paid her? I told her I was going to pay for it.
Would you show Shakespeare, please, the emails?
The actual case is over in less than 5 minutes. Number 14, your dog doesn't speak to you. There are a lot of topics Judge Judy has very strong opinions about. Responsible dog ownership is one of them. So when she essentially makes it clear that this plaintiff has no cause of action against the dog owner defendant, you know she believes it 100%.
Do you have a dog? I do. Your dog doesn't speak to you?
The plaintiff was watching the defendant's dog for her, and the pet was unruly, causing some damage to her home. She believes she's owed, even though she was in charge of the animal at the time. The judge quickly shoots down her argument, but that doesn't stop her from disagreeing. And if you've seen this show, you know how that's gonna go.
I disagree with your...
Goodbye!
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Number 13, allegations fly. In her younger and more patient days, the judge put up with a lot more disorderly conduct in her courtroom. While it may be plaintiff Charles Lanfried's case, his witness and the defendant end up getting into a verbal back and forth that completely derails everything.
I picked her up. I went to his house because he had her kids. I dropped them off. I had to go to work the following morning, and I was staying in LA. And
my head is getting full of facts.
It doesn't take long for the snide remarks and insults to turn into full-blown accusations of unflattering behavior. The judge awards Lanfried his money after less than 4 minutes, if only to get them all out of her hair. Still, the drama is far from over. Their heated exchange spills over into the hallway outside.
How many friends buy you a convertible? How many friends buy you a tennis bracelet? How many people sign your apartment on your lease? How many people do this?
Number 12, $5,000 for a $10 haircut. Judge Judy understands that the law is important, but so is good TV. If she wasn't interested in entertaining us, she wouldn't hear this case about someone so upset by his haircut that he's suing for a whopping $5,000.
Just hope you don't use that against me.
No, I'm going to hold your lawsuit against you because it's stupid.
Well, to me, it's personal, and if you got a bad haircut, I'm sure you would be happy.
It's stupid. Your lawsuit's stupid.
The defendant simply cut Carlos Campos's admittedly sparse head of hair too short. Campos seems to think it's a matter of principle. Judge Judy thinks it's a matter of stupidity and a desire to be on television. She skewers his lawsuit and his hairline in just a few minutes before sending him back home with only a $10 refund.
I don't think you're cute.
I'm not trying to be cute.
Great.
You're
Good.
trying to be cute.
Good.
You are cute.
Mr. Campos, you are absolutely correct. That's why I have the job, and you get $10, and that's the judgment of the court. Goodbye.
Number 11, super seriously. Plaintiff Shaughnessy Fahey has a lot to say. Even if the judge is talking, he thinks what he has to say is far more important.
That's much easier said than done.
Listen to me. That didn't require an answer. That was a statement. That wasn't a question.
He has to point out every nuance of every detail of every fact of the case, even when it contradicts his own sworn statement. The worst thing is that he probably was wronged. However, he grates on the judge's nerves so much that she flat out tells him she's done with the case.
Well, this was my friend. You have to understand that too. You know, this was my friend. And it was an unhealthy environment. And I'm glad.
I'm done. You're gone.
And as quickly as it began, it's over. When he realizes what's happened, his incredulous response gives Judge Judy the opening for a brutal and efficient smackdown.
Seriously?
No, not seriously. Super seriously!
Number 10, substance use disorder.
I gave her,
All right, Mr. Stemple. I'm not going to go any further with you, sir.
This is probably one of the saddest cases in Judge Judy history. The defendant is Jason Stemple, person who is clearly going through withdrawal.
Ever had any substance abuse problem?
No, ma'am.
He appears totally distraught and physically unwell. He can barely string two words together, and the plaintiff is even forced to answer questions on his behalf. She also admits that he used money she had given him for a drug test to buy illicit substances instead.
Eventually, I got it out of him that he had paid for heroin.
Judy quickly brings the case to an end in under 2 minutes by first telling Jason he needs help, then by offering to get him some if he wants it. It's rare for Judy to show compassion in court, but it's clear that this man needed to hear some harsh but reassuring words.
But I'm going to suggest to you, you're 31 years old. If you want to be 32 years old, you better get yourself some help.
Number 9, she's an idiot.
Go.
Go it.
Speak.
Let's lighten the mood and watch the Judy we all know and love, the one who calls other people idiots. In this case, the plaintiff is suing Sandy Huang for a $4,800 loan. He'd co-signed the loan, the money of which was used for Sandy's breast implants.
I asked and I was like, oh, I want to get my boobs done. And afterwards, my boyfriend at the time said he was willing to pay for it.
So why didn't he?
He got arrested.
I did not know that part.
However, the plaintiff and friend, or perhaps former friend now, says that Sandy hasn't been making her payments. And Sandy says that she had considered the loan a gift.
If he wasn't paying, he gave me as a gift, so it's not my fault, right?
Of course, he doesn't see it that way, and he wants his money. Judy absolutely annihilates Sandy and calls her an idiot before slapping her with the whole $4,800 bill.
She's an idiot.
Thanks.
To top it all off, she states that Sandy shouldn't have any more children, lest she spread her stupidity. Ouch.
That some people say that being an only child is not a good thing. In your daughter's case, perfect.
Number 8, ruined iPhone. Here's a little tip for all you pranksters out there. If you break something, you have to pay for it, even if it was an accident. Defendant Ashley Hunter pushed her friend Jennifer into a pool and broke her iPhone, and Jennifer wants to be compensated. Fair enough. However, Ashley refuses to pay because it was an accident, and it, quote, wasn't malicious at all.
And it wasn't malicious at all. I had no idea she had her iPhone. I felt awful after it happened. So.
Well, you felt awful. That means you pay for it if you feel awful.
Of course, Judy isn't having that ridiculous explanation, and she bluntly ends the case by telling Ashley to grow up and own her mistakes. The whole thing ends with Ashley explaining rocket science to Judy, or trying to. Seeing as how the whole room exploded with laughter, we don't think she succeeded.
Simple as that. Isn't that rocket science? What is rocket science?
Rocket science is when the scientists find out things about space.
Number 7, bird monitor.
You gave away your bird.
To a good home, Your Honor.
You
That's
gave
what the ad
away your bird.
Lots of toys to destroy.
Put it down, open up your ears and listen.
Sometimes good intentions can land you in jail. This was almost the case for plaintiff Tracy Martin, who sold her pet parrot to the defendant. She later saw the parrot and believed that it was being neglected, as it didn't have any toys and, quote, looked horrible. Judy stops the case dead in its tracks because, quote, courts don't micromanage pets. She also states that once a transaction is made, the seller has no further responsibility or say over the pet's well-being.
She doesn't want anything to do with you anymore. You gave her your bird.
Exactly.
Shh. This is true for private affairs, and it's also true for pet adoption centers. As such, Tracy has no case, and Judy even warns her of potential jail time if she continues in her well-meaning but naive pursuit.
If you don't leave her alone, the police are going to get involved and she will get a restraining order against you from coming anywhere near her or where she lives. You have to stay away from her.
Number 6, one weird practical joke.
Try just to speak the truth. Do you understand?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Good. Try to speak the truth, then we won't have any trouble, Mr. Mystery.
No problem.
If you don't, we're going to have a lot of trouble.
Oh, the things Judy has to hear. This case sees Jimmy Mystery suing his friend Rafael Cassin for damaging his car. But this wasn't just a simple friends get into an accident in his buddy's car case. No, it's far wackier than that. The two had attended a party, and Rafael got jealous once he saw Jimmy kissing the woman he had been kissing earlier in the day. So he stole Jimmy's car and hid it in a nearby park.
I start hooking up with this girl, and later that night I see Jimmy hooking up with the same girl. I got pretty upset, and I hid his car from him.
Rafael eventually recovered the car, but Jimmy noticed some extensive damage, including dents, scratches, and a missing grille. Despite calling Jimmy a wise guy, Judy swiftly awards him $910, because you can't just steal your friend's car and hide it in a park.
By the way, Your Honor, you look beautiful.
Don't
suck
there,
up.
Mr.
Don't
Mystery.
suck up. Figured I might
Because
have.
it'll be the fastest way for you out the door, sir.
Number 5, two tiny women.
What were you cursing at them for?
Because they're losers.
There's nothing like a good Judge Judy evisceration. Defendant Alexandra Nelson had harassed the plaintiff outside of his house and swore at 5 or 6 of his friends. The plaintiff retaliated by confronting them, but according to Alexandra, they were just being dumb, and the plaintiff had no right to confront 2 tiny women. This ridiculous statement shocks Judy, who contorts her face and visibly recoils from the stupidity. She then calls Alexandra an idiot and a manipulative problem, before slapping her with a $4,000 judgment.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,000. That's all. Step out.
You may step out.
Maybe next time she'll think about provoking people in front of their own houses. Because if there's one thing we learned here, it's that silliness like that results in one swift court case. Number 4, can I interest you in some venison? This is one of the funniest cases in Judge Judy history. It sees Eve Dettenheim suing her own sister, Carol, over damages to her car. Carol had taken the car and hit a deer, causing $1,300 in damages.
I just didn't think.
You didn't think? Who do you rely on to do your thinking?
I just use it all the time, and she wasn't home, so I went over there to get the key and went, and the deer just jumped out in front of me.
It sounds like a typical Judge Judy case, until you consider the finer details, like the fact that Carol took the carcass home, made venison stew, and offered some to her sister.
What'd you do with it?
Ate it.
Is that true?
Yes, ma'am, and she even offered me some, but I'm not having rigor mortis stew.
Or the wacky sitcom-esque declarations, like Carol defensively stating that the venison did not have rigor mortis. Or the audience desperately trying to contain their laughter. It was like watching a Judge Judy parody on SNL. Needless to say, Carol was forced to pay the damages. Turns out venison stew does not fix cars.
So why don't you work?
Because I don't have to.
Well, you have to because you owe your sister $1,300.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to have to owe $1,300.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,300. Thank you very much.
Your Honor.
Go back to Louisiana and be happy.
Number 3, don't get comfy.
Thank you, Bird.
You're welcome, Judge.
Don't get comfy.
You're not gonna be here long?
No.
Okay.
When Judy says don't get comfy, you know a verbal smackdown is right around the corner. That's exactly what happened when Brenda Powell sued her ex-roommate Angela Rust. Brenda was forced to move out of their apartment, and now she wants Angela to pay the difference between her new, more expensive apartment and the apartment she shared with Angela. However, Judy destroys her confidence with 4 words. That's not a case.
That's not a case. So, sorry to tell you, we don't do cases like that because it's ridiculous.
She goes over a few of Brenda's options before dismissing the case with a simple goodbye. This whole thing is over in 2 minutes, and it leaves Brenda in tears. We can't say we blame her. We'd cry too if Judy eviscerated us like that.
That doesn't happen.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Number 2, she broke my toilet. Now, what is small claims court for if you can't sue your friend over a broken toilet? Lisa Reed believes that her friend, Barbara Loth, is responsible for her toilet because it cracked after Barbara sat on it. This whole ordeal is probably the most embarrassing thing that Barbara has ever gone through, and we feel terrible for her. And so does Judy.
All I want to know is, did you fall on it? Did you kick it?
Heck no.
Did you hit it with a hammer? Did you hit it
No.
Did you hit it with a wrench?
No, Your Honor, no.
It broke.
She quickly explains that the toilet broke while Barbara was using it. In other words, that Barbara did not intentionally break the toilet, before calling the case stupid and throwing it out. The audience claps and guffaws, and everyone goes home happy. Everyone except Lisa.
Toilets break. I had one just break in my apartment last week. Cost me $650 to put in a new toilet. You think I went around to try to find the last person who sat on it? Be stupid. Grow up. That's all.
Dumb and Dumber. Judy must love it when the defendants do her job for her. In what is perhaps the most famous case in Judge Judy history, a man incriminates himself in a matter of seconds by indirectly admitting that he stole a woman's purse. The plaintiff, Ginny Paradesa, lists some of the items that were stolen in the purse snatching, including her wallet, a calculator, and an earpiece. Or was there an earpiece? Not according to the defendant, who brilliantly states, "There was no earpiece in there, ma'am."
I had to replace all my IDs. I had gift cards in there, my earpiece, and a calculator.
There was no earpiece in there, ma'am.
Everyone laughs in disbelief. Judy calls them dumb and dumber, and the plaintiff is awarded $500 for her troubles. Now, if only all court cases could be that simple.
Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $500. That's what I think it's worth, madam. Goodbye.
Which of these cases were you surprised to see end so quickly? Let us know in the comments.
We had fun. We had fun earlier.
Good, I'm glad you did. Your case is dismissed. So is your counterclaim. We're done.